'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
It's Saturday and the game is on. 10 minutes in, it's 3-0. I'm sipping back on a decan. I don't give a damn if it's 9 a.m. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. My name is Cody Bradley. I'm here, as always, with my Blue Testament brethren, Thad Bell and Robert Russert. Gentlemen.
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Don't I sound good? Do I sound
You do.
good?
What is that you've got in front of you?
We've got new mics. We've got new mics this week. New show, new mics for me and Thad.
I
And
would say 2 out of 3, man. 2 out of 3.
I'll have to join
but
the party.
well, no, it's all good because Bob's booming radio voice that he never knew he had will still come through quite well. So I don't think we even need to worry about it.
I'm not sure quite well as a cut as I'm too loud or not, so I won't say anything.
Gentlemen, where are we at here with this team? Someone give me just their general reaction. It's all over the place. No one seems to feel too good about anything. So
Well, when you don't win 4 games in a row, that sounds so bad. But yeah, it's not as bad as that seems to make it.
right.
We think anyway.
Everybody's inconsistent right now, though.
That is true. That's what has kept. That is.
You know, I don't care about everybody else. I care about us.
That last round of games there, every single game went exactly the way they needed. Everyone's just beating the hell out of each other in the West while Columbus dominates in the East.
Let them. All right, so we gonna talk about what we think is good or what is bad, or what are you thinking, Cody?
Let's do what's bad if those are our two directions, and then we can end on a positive note.
Hey, I was just asking.
I was just watching these highlights again, before we started here, and they could have scored 3 goals like right off the bat. They just had these golden opportunities, and they just kind of seem to come out of nowhere. Is it one really good pass that is doing this whole team in over and over again, or is it a mediocre pass and everyone is out of position, or too slow, or not coordinated, or what is happening?
I say that's a good question, but I don't know if it is just one answer to that either.
Yeah, of course. But we're doing a podcast and we're talking heads, so you need to make it simple and give me a soundbite here.
Well, I've had a feeling for a little while that everybody knows the 4-3-3 and what we try to do with it, and they try to pick our weaknesses. We may come out on fire early in the season and, kind of catch people by surprise who aren't quite ready to take advantage of us yet, but then they catch up and realize, what we're doing again. And, we may vary it some, but I think the system just dictates too much, because we've seen this over how many years, what our fallacies are. This isn't new, right?
Well, it's new that the team is getting beaten by these, where it's not on a counterattack, but it's still just all of a sudden one good pass over one line and in between another, and boom, they're right on goal, right in front of Amelia. That definitely seems new to me from years past.
And you're right, at least to a certain extent, Cody, because in the last year it was just counter after counter after counter,
right,
and a few corner kicks and set piece kind of goals. Maybe this is better in the regard that we're not giving up those counters as easily, or we're defending them better. And now it's more just we have so much youth playing in the middle.
Yeah, everyone, like we kind of talked about this in the last podcast. Everyone's been wishing, hoping, and praying for this youth movement. Well, here it is. It's happening.
There it is. But I wanted the youth movement, but I always want it like one at a time, two at a time, 5 at a time is not always conducive to wins.
Who do you think has been showing out the best? Busio in his new role, or Cam Duke maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think Busio has really grown into this holding midfielder position. He's shown a lot of maturity, I think. There's been some messes, but, I think it was our old cohort, Miss Trost, Ali Trost, who said that his field awareness is just really coming out, and he's growing into the role.
Yeah, and I mean, it's obvious it's not an easy position. Like there are players much more experienced than him that have played that position that will make some of the mistakes that he's made.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty impressive the switch that he's done and playing such a difficult role that Vermees demands so much of as well. But I don't know if you guys saw, I put it in the blue links. Matt Doyle, actually, gonna give him some credit, did a breakdown of that team goal. Did you guys see that?
No,
Yes.
I did not see specifically.
Oh man, it was really good. Watching it live, obviously noticed that we, did the whole plan, move the ball from the back to the front, and so many different people touched the ball, and so it looked good. And then the pass from Gotti at the end, it was also beautiful. But Doyle does wrap it up quite well, and shows exactly how it is basically a plan from the training ground. Like almost every one of those passes, yeah, the shot got deflected, but still that was basically a textbook way that Sporting Kansas City want to move the ball up the field, and it worked beautifully.
Well, talking about, players that have been standing out, young players, I don't know who Doyle said made the most important pass there, but in my opinion, it was Hernandez's play where he could have played wide, the easy pass, but instead he penetrated into Gotti.
Right.
And it takes some guts to make that play for a young player, especially. And then the way he followed up, he didn't get involved in the play after it, but Hernandez, plays that ball in, then he immediately supports, which is good things he should be doing.
He did give a good amount of time in that short video on Busio, who did quite well to fill in the space and receive a pass, and then be the backboard to pass it off to the outside back to get it up the field. He showed
Right.
all of that. So he did, which that is good to see that from Busio, that he can jumpstart an attack, and that is what made me bring that story up. But yeah, Hernandez, man, and then Gotti after that, and then I like that Kyrie shot it. I think his last go around here, he definitely would not have shot that ball at all, and it was a good shot. It was a good save, just not quite good enough.
There was another moment. Oh, go ahead, Thad.
You also have to credit Hurtado. He made the run.
Oh yeah,
That sometimes guys don't make, and because he did, and it also wasn't an easy finish.
right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
He put it in the top of the net, but that was a miss that we've seen Russell make probably 5 times already this year.
Oh hell yeah! That's what I thought you were gonna say. The finish was definitely not easy. That was off balance in the air. Like yeah, that was definitely difficult. And
That's a Hurtado goal though. If it was an easy one, he probably would have missed it.
And it just seems like looking back at our strikers that we've tried there in the past, it seems like all of them would have missed that. Dom Dwyer would have kicked it as hard as he could, and it would have gone out of the stadium. Rubio would have. Well, I don't know. Maybe Rubio could have put that away.
Yeah, Dom would have put it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, somehow.
Going back to young players, though, Hernandez, there was a moment in the game where, it just really, he took the ball and just went right at the opposition. And, again, I like that from him. He's not afraid to do that at all.
Yeah, Busio as well has been doing that. That's really good to see. You can almost you can just almost hear when they do it. It's like that Vermees has been like screaming at them, pounding that in their heads to do it, because it's like they're almost. There's even been times where I'm like, all right, well, chill out a little bit. Like they'll even like go too far. It's like, Vermees has just pounded in their heads that they're good enough that they can do this, and they're like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, but that's why all of them are in there right now, man.
Exactly,
Busio,
yeah.
Felipe, and Duke, they all have that ability to do something really good. I mean, Hernandez is the closest thing we have to Roger that's on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
Duke is probably the next closest thing we have to Felipe Gutierrez. And Busio might be putting Ilie out of a job. It's kind of scary, but these three could be really good in a year. They're just not going to be very strong.
What's Ilie's contract look like? I can't even recall at the moment.
I'm trying to remember if it's up this year.
I can't remember. I feel like he got renewed at one point, but I can't remember how long ago that was.
He got renewed just after Azuzi, Beasler, and Espinosa, didn't he?
It was at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
So then, shoot, that's got to be like getting close to done,
well,
right?
Some of them got longer contracts than others.
Yeah.
I just don't remember who got which. Zusi, I think, got like a year longer than Beasler.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I think that's actually a good thing. We should talk more about there. Busio and Ilie. Is Busio putting Ilie out of a job at the moment? No. If Ilie was there, we would want Ilie there, and then Busio to play a little farther forward. But I think your point that you were making was, next year.
I don't know if I'm even talking next year. I'm talking if Roger and Kenda are all healthy, perhaps Busio is better there than Ilie is at the moment. Roger's not healthy, so yes, if Ilie was here and healthy and in shape, this midfield is pretty deep, except for the fact that you've lost Gutierrez, Roger's been hurt for the last couple of games. So now you're down to like all youngsters playing.
No way. I would so much rather have Ilie start that game and then Busio come on for Roger at halftime or something like that.
So, or am I hearing from you guys that Busio's not going to be sold? Is this what you're implying?
Well, what's the holdup? It's not. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, I know. I'm just asking. Hey, had to ask.
Well, he probably has upped his value by $1 million in the last month.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I like Busio, and he has so much talent, but he has not. He's not gained. He's not just grabbed on to any position that he's played, whether it's one of the dual midfielders or as on the wing or wherever he's played. He's been really good, but never just said, "Here's my spot." He may have just said, "Here's my spot."
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about this too. The replace Ilie or do something better than Ilie started a bit last year with, when Felipe Gutierrez played there for a number of games.
As much as we all love Ilie, he has not been good for the last year. I don't want to see him gone, but it's just truth.
There have been times where he's played up to what he's supposed to be, but yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like we have been talking positives. We should probably talk about the defense in that last game. Where are we at last week or last week, right? We did one last week.
Yeah.
And kind of listed off where we were at on the depth chart for center backs and defenders. Is everyone still about the same there?
I mean, I will admit, when I do recaps, I'm watching for, the big moments. I'm not able to look at individual moments. So
right.
I'm not sure center backs are the issue. I mean, I think
it's coming from out wide for sure.
Right. And I think they are in desperation moment times. They get pulled out and they look exposed and look bad when those things happen. But I'm not sure that it's our center backs that are the biggest issue. I'm still thinking we're pushing our wide backs too far forward and getting caught. We'll go back to Mr. Doyle. He's saying that teams are parking a guy next to Zuzi and just waiting for the counter and going through that wing,
Mm-hmm.
And that pulls out our center backs and makes them expose more. I don't know.
That's what's happening. They've not satisfied or not settled on a preferred lineup between injuries and everybody having their moments of goodness and moments of sucking, quite honestly. Every single defender has had that so far this year.
Literally everyone.
Yeah. But again, it's I part of it will chalk up to inconsistency with everything that's been going on and the weirdness and travel and all that other stuff. But they need to perhaps, if there's a group that's healthy and doesn't screw up too badly, play the same four for 2 weeks in a row, 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean that's Vermees is praying for. That's why he's trying all these combinations. He wants it to work once, so he can just lock onto it. That's what he's always.
But I think every time it's worked, it didn't work the second time. So.
Right.
So what do we think of Jalen Lindsey as a right back? And he's been there the last couple games. Are we liking what we see or what?
Yeah, he did take a step forward, but now I'm getting my games confused. Was that the last game that I thought he played better, or was that the game before it and then he played bad last week?
He played better 2 games ago.
Dude, that's right.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think he played terrible last game at all, though.
Right. There were, I did see a couple moments, though, that, I think I had higher hopes for Lindsey at one point.
Well, he did have some bad touches in the last game. I will agree with that, where he made some just not great touches. But
I'm not down on Lindsey at all. I think he, he could still be an outside back of the future for us.
Which center back pairing for you guys?
Man, I'm still gonna prefer Reed and probably. Man, I guess Puncec still. Reed and Puncec.
Was that what you said last time?
I think so. I wouldn't. I don't know. I go back and forth with Graham Smith. I'm not sure. I can't decide.
How about you, Bob?
I tell you what, that's the pair that got beat for the game-winning goal. There were 3 at the time. And Puncec losing his man and letting that happen irks me. But I don't know. I still have a hard time going away from Beasler. So maybe Beasler and Reed, Beasler and Puncec. I don't know.
Yeah, Beasler and Reed would, in a lot of worlds, be the perfect pairing.
In a lot of worlds, I like the way you said that. In my head, it just seems like, yeah, exactly. There's another realm that I'm feeling that it seems like that should work, but
in a realm where your outside backs are completely competent and fast, that probably works. And where your D mid is experienced and fast, and that works.
Yeah. Well,
neither one of them is fast.
My dad has no trust for Beasler anymore. He gave up on Beasler a couple games ago. He doesn't trust him anymore, and he feels shaky with him. And that oddly makes me believe my dad in that regard.
So I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but when the lineups come out, Vermees, has been seemingly, or whoever puts it out to the media, has been playing with where players are and with formations when he puts the original lineup out. Well, there's something that I liked that I saw that I think we really need to adopt.
A great teaser for the next half of the pod. Okay, we're going to talk about Pulido the next half when whatever weird thing is going on with that.
Is it weird or is he just injured?
Hey, not yet. It's not normal what's going on. We all can agree it's not normal, whatever. Anyway.
This whole freaking year ain't normal, man.
Any final thoughts here on the loss to Houston?
Embarrassing.
Yes. Should we mention the rumor reporting that they might be rebranding?
I think might as well mention it. I mean,
they got to do something. But I would like, as we were saying in the Slack group, I would if moving away from orange would be weird, unless they're gonna take pink and steal it from Inter Miami. That would be funny.
So is it gonna be Houston FC? Is that what's coming?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Houston United FC.
I don't know. Is there another soccer-ish name they can take that's not United or FC or Real or Sporting?
Or Inter?
Or Inter, yeah. I think that was one of the last ones.
Maybe a name from like Mexico or something, so they can try to get a little more
Chivas.
Hispanic.
Red Star Dynamo.
Well, poor Dynamo. They need to do something to get people in the stands, although not this season. Let's take a quick break here, and we will be right back and talk some Pulido and preview the upcoming match.
But it's a fun night. But it's a fun night. We can gather all our friends all around the tomb. That's not a better thing to do. But it's a fun night. But it's a fun night. When the final whistle blows, we're gonna celebrate tonight. When the final whistle blows, we're gonna celebrate tonight. When the final whistle blows, you know we're gonna feel alright.
All right. We're gonna go to Bob, who teased a little something for this second half here. So, Bob, what do you got for us?
Well, I think it was for the Colorado game. When they announced the lineups, I think Vermees likes to mess with the other team or whatever and not really reveal exactly what his formation is. But they showed it as a 4-2-3-1, and that just kind of lit a thought in my mind that I think. And I investigated it further and thought about it more. I really think a 4-2-3-1, which maybe we've played in some way, shape, or form at some points, could really solve some issues. It keeps the wing backs a little more pulled back. They're not as attacking offensively. If one attacks, the other can tuck in and have the three in the back. But then you have the two shielding.
Okay, so no dispute on good idea. It is a good idea. But the funny part of this to me is, oh, what do you know? Someone's suggesting to Peter Vermees a formation change.
I think he has experimented some.
Just imagine telling him that.
I think he is a little too married to the 4-3-3. But
that's kind of what I mean by it. It's like, yes, that's the joke about him, but we always talk about and he would often defend himself without explicitly saying it. They're fluid within a game. He brings a sub on, brings somebody else on, and somebody's role and on the other part of the field might change because of that. And so it's like, maybe not a strict formation change, but yeah, they're fluid and things are changing on there quite a bit. And so yes, he would. The thought of someone suggesting to him a formation change would just make him shake his head for so many different reasons. One, I do, and two, shut up. I've thought of all these ways already.
I just think we have the personnel for it too. I don't know. Just a thought I'd throw out there and see what people thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he changes up enough within the game that it people get very hung up on the 4-3-3. That description. Sometimes it's more of a 4-5-1. Sometimes it's more of a 4-2-3-1. A lot of it just depends on who he's got out there and how they're playing the other team.
Well, in that you were saying he played something different last game, right?
Well, when he brought on Reed, he definitely flipped it to a 5-3-2.
Sure.
Right.
But here's the point, though. Okay, so there's some fluidity in it, blah blah blah, when subs come in. But is it really the formation that they train and practice and work through? And
right.
It just seems that the weaknesses of the 4-3-3 get exposed so readily against us that if we drilled in something else, maybe that would solve some issues. Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, as of late, that has been true.
And when you say as of late, to me, you're saying as of the last 3 years.
Oh,
because we've had the same issues for the last 3 years, as far as other teams figuring out how to attack our 4-3-3 and how our wingbacks come up so far.
Yeah. I still just think that what we call the formation doesn't matter a whole lot.
Right. That's where I'm at.
And what they put on MLS Soccer or what they tweet out is sometimes so far away from reality, it's crazy.
Oh, I know. They do that on purpose.
I'm looking at the formation they put out there against Dallas, and they have it as a 4-1-4-1. And I've seen them do that a bunch of times too. I think it's just whoever's sitting up at MLS Soccer that looks at the lineup, the people, because Vermees has made sure they don't list players where they're at in formation for the first tweet. I guess they get to do it closer to the game time, but
even when they are in that 4-3-3, the preferred striker is often coming so far back that it switches things up so much anyway.
Yeah, when it was Shelton, he did it. With Pulido, he does it. I was looking at some of the stats the other day, and Pulido was playing. He was behind. It was the last game I think Espinoza was in, but he was actually farther behind Espinoza on average than he was up forward.
Right.
So he drops back so far to pick stuff up. He's almost more like another midfielder.
So
Well, is that something to do with Espinoza going up too far? Maybe.
well,
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's just the way he plays.
Speaking of Alan Pulido, we need to discuss this, the happenings of this week. It has been the topic of discussion. We can't not talk about it. He got on a private jet. Well, so hold on. So backing up. Has not played the last two matches. Hasn't even technically been on the injury report. That's like not normal. Those are both kind of odd things.
Yes.
And then he got on a private jet and was not with the team, got on a private jet with his wife, and went to Chicago for a day.
Okay, so would you like perfectly good explanations for all of that?
Yes, and there absolutely is. I want to give people, everyone's not absolutely insane for like having a question about like, wait a second, what's going on here? That is at least worthy of that. When your $1 million man leaves the team and hasn't played in a minute, you're gonna be like, what the hell? So yes,
no argument there.
Give us the perfectly reasonable explanations.
All right, I'm going to start with the injury report part though. MLS has given guidance to the teams to change the way they do injury reports. So now there is only two categories. One is medically cleared to play, and one is medically not cleared to play.
That's been a theme recently, yeah.
Okay, well, that's the guidance they got from MLS. That's not just what they decided to do.
Right.
Some other teams have not followed it yet, but that was the guidance they were given. So if a player is out for the year, they're medically not cleared to play. If they are unable to play, like, they have some kind of strain that they cannot play, they're medically not cleared to play. If they would have been in the old questionable status, like day to day, we're going to game time decision him, that is medically cleared to play. So they're not on the injury report.
Well, thanks for that explanation. That's good to know. So
now the trip to Chicago, quite often, and I don't know this for a fact, but a lot of players that are foreign players, they're here on visas and stuff, they have to actually leave and go get their visa stamped at a consulate, an embassy, or whatever. It's happened quite a few times, like, hey, why is this player in Toronto today? And they had to leave the country and go get a visa stamped. So that could be totally why he was flying somewhere to do that. I don't know why it takes that, doing it that way, but apparently they have to do that pretty under normal circumstances. That could have been all of what that one was.
You son of a bitch, that's reasonable.
The other thing that I know, I saw people freaking out because he was in Chicago. His wife was tweeting or doing Instagrams from Chicago. If you look, they're back home today. They were out on a plane again last night. If you look at Instagram today, there was pictures from around her house. There was pictures. Kyrie Shelton did a picture of Pulido on a training table. So I'm guessing that they went up there for something quick. Now, if you want to go on the dark side of it, perhaps he went up there for a medical opinion on something. That would be more worrisome.
Okay.
I've also seen players go to, like, on an off day, go to New York or LA for interviews with MLS Soccer and stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense to even go to Chicago for that, but maybe there was something else.
Okay. All right. Sounds reasonable. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Now, all that, it could be wrong. They could be whatever, playing games, and he's actually being sold to Chicago, but I really doubt it.
All right. So is he going to play this weekend or nah?
Don't know. I haven't Haven't seen any more info than anybody else right at this point because we can't go see training, and it's not like they're readily giving us a whole lot of photos and video at the moment.
Another notable absence from this upcoming game against Minnesota is still going to be Ike Opara, still out.
For undisclosed reasons.
Yeah, and it's popular to joke about the defense being bad and Ike Opara leaving and how stupid it was that they got rid of Opara, didn't pay him the money or whatever. And there's no really talk that he's been injured and hasn't been playing. That's one reason that he was not worthy of a big investment. I haven't heard anyone mention this. He's out another extended period of time. And I still see jokes on Reddit. People are like asking why Pulido went to Chicago. Somebody was like, or he was on a plane and somebody's like, oh, maybe he's flying to Minnesota to get Ike back. Like, what the hell? Minnesota would like Ike back right now. So
yeah, no kidding.
Pulido don't even know who Ike is.
And also Pulido doesn't fucking know him.
Yeah, Tim might be flying up to get Ike back, but that would be a whole nother story.
I mean, I miss Ike too, and I would have liked to have seen him get paid, but you know, that's you can't just gloss over this fact that he's hurt again, and that was the big thing. You know, if he didn't have that past, I'm sure he would have gotten paid a little bit more.
Well, and if before we get too revisionist on history, he actually, if I remember correctly, he had a new contract before the year that he did so good. And
yeah,
if he'd have went to Peter and said, hey, I deserve a new contract, Peter said he was working that out, right? It wasn't like a rush thing, but he was going to work out some money for him. Not as much as he's going to get at Minnesota. But when his agent went public with it, Peter's like, I don't negotiate in public with shit. You're gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you just funded me another player. So
yeah.
Now maybe that player wasn't worth the extra money, and maybe Ike would have been the answer last year. I don't think he would have helped them get past Monterey, but maybe he would have been the answer last year.
Right. So Minnesota United just got a win tonight a little bit ago over FC Dallas 3-2. That was actually a really good match. I watched it during our break here.
Well, they had a pretty long injury list besides Ike coming into that game, I believe. And then they have another guy that just got a red card in that game. So they're going to be quite shorthanded and on a 3 days less rest than Sporting, which I know we've already talked about the other game, but that was part of that problem too, was resting and tired legs and mentally tired and all that youth. But that plays a part. But somehow Minnesota's been playing well even without Ike and without with a shortage of defenders and with some of their key forwards getting hurt too. So
yeah, they have been.
Basically, I think it's all Kevin Molino.
Seems like it. So this is the last game on the revised schedule. Thad, are we fully confident that a new schedule is coming very soon?
Last thing I heard was this week.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything different than that.
Yeah.
What about that player from Argentina that they're working on getting supposedly?
Mino.
Yeah, Juan Sancho Mino. Was that right?
Yeah, so no word on there. Last one on that, he was not going to practice, reportedly trying to force a move. Yeah.
So my question to you guys would be, do we want a player that would just not go to practice anymore in order to force a move?
Oh, Thad.
It doesn't sound like a Peter Vermees player, but
no, it doesn't.
And well, maybe on the flip side of it, it does, because he's dedicated to getting here.
So dedicated to Vermees and Vermees only.
And I think a similar situation happened with Colin before, but with when he came here, he kind of forced a move also. But if I remember correctly, they weren't paying him what he was owed. I don't think that was the issue with Juan Sanchez Mino. Anyway, I don't think that was the issue with him. I think it was just he wasn't playing. But
so
again, who knows?
To kind of go full circle, guys, have you looked at the Western Conference standings lately?
I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah, we have 3 teams on 14 points. Well, Seattle on 15 that have 1 game in hand on us. That means a victory, equal number of games. They've jumped ahead of us, or at least pulled level with us. Us and Minnesota both 17s. Yeah, so conceivably, if we don't win this week, results don't go our way, we could drop all the way to like 6th.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And it's trending that direction as of late.
Yeah. And we got how many more games left?
Well, we don't even know.
Yeah, one
It
more.
was
on
going to
this
be
round,
18,
and then-
wasn't it? Wasn't it going to be 18?
That was like all we know that was what they were shooting for. I think that was literally like it quotes. That's what they were shooting for, was that many. But we don't even know.
Yeah, they could come back with 6 or 10 or.
Yeah.
And they still haven't announced. So we.
But I mean,
you know,
Chad made the point in his story that you want to get hot before playoff time, and he's right. But I'd really like to see us with a good seed going into it. But.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, who needs a seed? It's not like you're going to have fan support.
Well, what do you think about that, Thad? You've been at the stadium with fans, the 2,500, whatever it is. What do you think of the atmosphere?
2,300 roughly people do make more noise than what I think they would.
Right.
But it still is nothing close to being – obviously, it's nothing like having a full stadium.
Sure.
But approximately the same number that would be packed into the cauldron, drunk and sweaty, is what's spread out across the entire stadium.
Yeah.
It's just hard to have any continuity of sound, noise, song, cheers. So it seems like from the games I've watched, road teams don't have any disadvantage going into those places.
Right.
They might have a disadvantage going into a hot, humid, smelly place like Houston, but it's not because they had fans.
It seemed tonight I was watching the Houston, Colorado game, and it seemed like the announcer was like announcing a golf tournament. His voice seemed hushed, and it just didn't seem right.
As nothing is in 2020.
Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you this question. I've been wondering this myself. Do you think the kids would be getting this much playing time if it wasn't COVID 2020 shortened season? Yes or no?
No, they wouldn't be getting as much playing time without like other injuries and without the fourth and fifth subs each game.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Not as much.
And a lot of it is they've gotten starts lately, but that's been because Roger's hurt. That's because Ilie's gone.
Gotti was out of the game.
Yeah, Gotti was suspended for a game. That's played a lot of it. Lindsey's been getting starts because, well, nobody else is really claiming an outside back spot and doing successfully at it. So you might as well, if he's going to be equal to those guys, you might as well play him and get him experience.
Well, look who hasn't been getting time. Kuzane, which I kind of sounded the death knell for a while ago. Shallowy's been getting a bit, but still not a whole lot.
But kudos to him. At least he looked dangerous last game.
Yeah. He should have scored that goal, though. The one he was like on the 6.
But he was the one. He was right to the way to the side, and he shot it. I mean, it was just barely saved.
Yeah.
But that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good save by the keeper. He's at least looked like he was, back to the form he had, just not the luck he had.
Okay.
Right.
Cody wants to go to bed.
Yeah, I gotta take the dog out.
The youngest one of us is tired.
Again.
All right, guys. Well,
That's
sorry.
part
I
of
made
having
this
a dog,
this
Cody.
late, but, hey.
Okay. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Blue Testament KC, and join us at thebluetestament.com and leave us a comment. Tell us why you haven't made an account. We're curious about that. Let us know. Danny, shut up. Danny, shut up. I'm so close to being done. I'm so close.
Oh my God.
Hey, go Sporting.
We'll do it live.
Go Sporting!
Don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.